Okay, the first thing you need to know about your new geometry course is that you have a personal geometry handbook. It's an insert that's going to be in every one of your geometry books. You're going to need to pull it out because throughout the book you're going to be filling it in with different definitions, postulates, and theorems. So make sure you pull out that handbook, you keep it, you save them, you collect them because you're going to be using them throughout your geometry course. So that's the first thing you need to know. So let's go over what you're going to be learning in this book. You're going to be learning to identify different types of angles. You're going to be learning to construct congruent line segments, angles, and their bisectors. You're going to know the properties of equality. You're going to be able to recognize special pairs of angles. You're going to be able to identify the different types of triangles. You'll be able to understand what SSS, SAS, and ASA postulates are, and you'll be able to construct triangles. You'll also be learning about what it means to be content in this course. By the end of the book, you should be able to come back to this page here and know exactly what all these things mean and are. If you learned everything that you're supposed to learn, you should be able to explain all these things to yourself or know them for yourself. There are two types of geometry. There's plane geometry and there's solid geometry. You're not going to be learning about solid geometry in this course. We're going to be focusing on plane geometry. The difference between the two is that solid geometry has three-dimensional, talks about three-dimensional shapes or shapes with three measurements, which would be length, height, and depth. So 1, 2, 3. Those are three measurements. That's solid geometry. In plane geometry, you're only dealing with objects that have two measurements, length and height, or length and width. And mainly in this course or throughout the course, we're just going to be learning or going over plane geometry. Here are some more examples of solid geometric shapes where you have height, you have width, and you have depth, height, depth, and width, however you want to look at it. And so these are all solid geometrical shapes. Here you have three solid shapes and one plane shape or shape on a plane surface. These here obviously have height, length, and depth. This one just has height and width or length. And this is a plane geometrical shape because it only has two measurements. Those that have more than two measurements are solid geometrical shapes.